Okay, I just listened to this podcast saying vaccines didn't actually stop diseases. It was clean water and sanitation. And honestly, it kind of made sense.
Yeah, I've heard that one too. It sounds like what stuck with you is the idea that maybe vaccines are getting credit for something sanitation had already fixed.
Exactly, like didn't death rates drop before vaccines even came out?
That's a fair question. And sanitation absolutely saved, and still saves, millions of lives. Clean water and better nutrition matter a lot. It makes sense that you'd want to understand what actually caused the improvement. When you saw those charts, were they showing deaths going down or infections going down?
Deaths, I think.
Yeah, and that's where it gets confusing. Would it be okay if I explained the difference?
Of course.
So improved sanitation, nutrition, and medical care absolutely lowered death rates. People were stronger, hospitals were better, antibiotics became available, so fewer people died once they got sick. But many of the diseases we vaccinate against, like measles and smallpox, spread through the air, not dirty water. So sanitation didn't really stop people from getting infected. Before the measles vaccine in 1964, nearly every child got measles by age 15 in the US. Even though death rates had improved, about 500 to 600 kids still died every year. When the vaccine was introduced, the number of cases dropped dramatically, not just deaths. That's the key difference those charts leave out.
So people were still getting sick, they just weren't dying as much?
Exactly. Measles is incredibly contagious. The virus can actually linger in the air for 2 hours after a sick person leaves a room. And if someone hasn't had measles before or hasn't been vaccinated, there's about a 90% chance they'll get infected if they're exposed. Good nutrition can help someone recover better, but it doesn't stop the virus from spreading.
What about polio? I heard sanitation fixed that.
That one gets talked about a lot. Sanitation actually changed who got polio, not whether it existed. Before modern sanitation, babies were exposed very young, while they still had protective antibodies from their mothers. They usually had mild illness and became immune. When sanitation improved, kids were exposed later, after that protection wore off, which led to bigger and more severe outbreaks. In 1952, the U.S. had about 57,000 polio cases in a single year. Over 21,000 caused paralysis. Sanitation didn't stop the virus. Vaccination did.
So sanitation helped people survive, but vaccines stopped the diseases?
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Sanitation lowers risk and improves survival. Vaccines stop infection and spread. Both matter, it's not either or.
The podcast made it sound like vaccines were unnecessary.
Yeah, it's easier to tell a simple story than a nuanced one. I'm really glad you brought it up though. If you want, I can send you an article from Voices for Vaccines. It makes the difference clearer.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Anytime.